So I had an interesting interaction with a vegan the other day. You might find this interesting. Hey, what's shaking bacon? My name is Bruno Panucci. I hope you're doing well. So I've lost over 160 pounds doing this carnivore way of eating. I really enjoy it. I feel good. I feel like it's opened the world up to me. I'm not limited to my food addiction anymore. Eating carnivore has managed my weight, my health problems, as well as my unhealthy relationship I have with food. So everything from my binge eating to my carbohydrate and sugar addiction. So it's something that has brought me a lot of health and benefits. And in turn, it's opened up a lot of my life. Now, there's a bit of a battle sometimes that people have. I notice sometimes some carnivores can be kind of condescending when it comes to vegetarians or vegans because they do kind of make it easy sometimes. And I mean no offense to vegans or vegetarians when I say this, but you do kind of make it easy because you can be so confrontational. So it kind of like becomes one of these things, right? Where you think, oh man. And so you think of a witty comeback and it gets people going back and forth. And I want to try and be friendly, right? I want to get along with everyone. And I ran into this vegan protest and I was in Burlington about a week ago and it was downtown and they had this sort of little carnival on. And there was a little protest and it was 4 people. The first thing I noticed was these Guy Fawkes masks. They had these masks on and it was 4 of them standing back to back, 90 degrees off center from each other. And so there's somebody facing the equivalent of north, south, east, and west, and they each had about a 32-inch monitor in front of them. And on that monitor, they were showing a bunch of pigs getting slaughtered and all these animals being mistreated. And, you know, everyone's heart goes out to those people. Even if you're carnivore, no one wants to see any mistreatment of an animal of any kind. And it's kind of sad because it sucks to see that in this day and age, this sort of thing is still happening. And I think most carnivores share nothing but compassion when they see animals that are being mistreated. But for the most part, most farmers care for their animals. Most farmers really want to make their death as humane as possible. And I know that's difficult for a vegan to hear. The reality is lots of animals out there eat other animals in this world, and we're just one animal that partakes in that. So I'm not trying to get into a debate about the right or wrongs of a carnivore diet. What I do want to talk about is this interaction I had with this vegan. I was getting a little frustrated right off the bat with this confrontational attitude this vegan started taking with me, but she capped herself, and I really appreciated her doing that. I wasn't going there being an instigator of any kind. I was just walking by her. She looked like she was maybe in her mid 60s, maybe around 70. She wasn't old, but just a little older. And these people that were doing this protest stood silently while they showed these videos. And so she said, "Are you interested to hear about what we're doing?" And I said, "No." And I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I just was giving her a straight answer. I was like, "No, I'm not." But the person I was with was recording it. And she said, well, the person I was with started recording it because it was a sort of interesting demonstration because they were very quiet and they weren't very loud. They were playing some music, but it wasn't obnoxiously loud or anything like that. It was very peaceful. And even though they were showing a lot of grotesque things on a TV monitor, typically no one wants to see, they're trying to show the reality of what happens out there. Even though it's not the common thing that's happening out there, it still does happen and no one wants to see it. So this lady said to me, the lady said, "Well, you're clearly interested because you're recording this." And I said, "I'm not the one with the camera in my hand. That person is. So if you have any questions, you can talk to them." I said, "You might want to talk to that person." So they ended up having a pleasant exchange and they were talking. And this is where the vegan impressed me because she was very passionate. You could tell she had her back up. You could tell she's probably had people giving her crap all day. You could tell she was restraining herself. She was very passionate and it's painful to watch something like that. And I can relate to that. But she was really passionate about how this is happening in the world and we don't agree with that. We don't want to see any animal die. And you know what? What impressed me was she gave an option for us to eventually, after about a minute or so of talking, maybe about a minute and a half of an interaction, she basically like left it there. And I was like, that is so cool. She didn't force it down our throats. Nothing turns anyone away more than when you are combative, which she started with in the beginning, but she capped herself. And then she just wanted to inform. And she assumed we were going to this carnival that was happening. And she wanted us to know before we went there and we were eating whatever food we were going to eat there, that we should know what's happening to the food and where it's coming from. And just because the foods that's being served at that carnival is pork, it doesn't mean the pork is slaughtered in that way that's being demonstrated in these videos where these animals are being treated inhumanely. In fact, most animals typically are killed humanely. And by that, I mean very rapidly and fast so that they don't feel any pain or torture, right? They want it to be as quick as possible. So some people, unfortunately, are just bad people out there, and we all have to deal with those people in this world. But they've made it their focus, and they're trying to make the world a better place. We all have that in common. And I really want us to start paying attention to that. Vegans have a righteous standpoint. I don't agree with how far they take it, but I can't disagree with the fact that no one wants to see animals getting tortured. And I really respected the fact that this lady, as passionate as she was, stopped talking at one point. And she basically was like, thank you for your time. And I thought that was really cool because she could have just turned it into a rant and a lecture. And I could tell she was so passionate that she was capping herself. She just wanted to just tell us everything and just go for it. And she didn't, because she didn't know where I stood on this, because I was staying pretty quiet. And she was probably worried I was judging her by some way. And I wasn't, I was just listening. But the person I was with was very curious. But I love the fact that she didn't ram it down our throats. No one likes being on the receiving end of that. No one likes it when someone's being confrontational with them. She started that way, but quickly adapted and changed gears because she saw I wasn't being confrontational. I was just walking by and I wasn't interested in what she was saying. I already knew what was going on. It was easy to see, but she wanted to talk about it, and I respect that. So I just want to say to any vegans watching this video, I really appreciate that. I think more carnivores are on your side when it comes to that. We won't go to the extreme you do, because we still obviously are eating meat, but I want you to keep in mind that no one wants to see animals treated poorly. And I know you feel killing any animal is treating them poorly. I get that. But we still eat meat, and we want to see them treated as humanely as possible. We want to see our animals being treated in humane ways. And that's why lots of carnivores go out and buy their meats from local farmers. Once you've been doing this long enough, not only is it a more affordable way to eat, but it's a way that gives us a bit of a clearer conscience, knowing we have a smaller footprint on the environment that way. When you order your food in bulk, it means that you're typically getting it grass-fed, mainly grass-fed and antibiotic-free, hormone-free, and you're getting, say, a half cow at a time. It's a lot easier for us. And I don't want to start any arguments in the comment section with any vegans. If you're going to leave a comment, don't be abrasive. Don't be a douche. I don't care if you're a carnivore or a vegan or a vegetarian. Be respectful, because you'll get blocked if you're going to be a jerk in the comments. Simple as that. I always want my comments to be a safe place for people to have conversations. So I encourage any vegans out there to have conversations, and keep in mind, you're probably not going to attract any carnivores to your vegan agenda. And I don't mean that word agenda in a bad way. I just mean like your passion and what you're fighting for as a vegan. You are going to turn people away when you're being abrasive. Cap yourself in the comments if you're going to leave a comment. I really do appreciate it. Anyone who's leaving a comment. And just keep in mind, we all want the same thing. We want animals to be treated good while they're alive. We don't want animals to go through a torturous death where they're getting beaten to death or anything like that. So peace to everyone out there. Thanks a lot and take care.